Erika Kirk and the leadership circle around Turning Point USA suddenly found themselves facing a development that few inside the organization appeared prepared to handle. Reports began spreading quickly that multiple TPUSA financial accounts had allegedly been frozen by the Internal Revenue Service while an active investigation was underway. According to individuals said to be familiar with the situation, the news landed inside TPUSA headquarters like a shockwave, triggering immediate confusion, frantic discussions, and urgent internal meetings. Staff members reportedly scrambled to understand what had happened and how the situation had escalated so quickly. Yet many observers following the story say the only people truly surprised by the development were Erika Kirk and members of the organization's leadership team.
It was interesting because he asked her the question, do you think these protests are helping? Personally, I do not. I think it's demonic.
For months leading up to this moment, whistleblowers and critics had already been raising concerns that TPUSA's financial activity looked highly unusual and potentially problematic. Warnings circulated publicly, questions appeared online, red flags were repeatedly pointed out by commentators studying the organization's financial filings. However, critics claim those concerns were largely dismissed or ignored by leadership figures. Now the situation appears to have intensified dramatically. Reports claim investigators believe money may have moved through TPUSA in ways that violated strict nonprofit financial rules. That possibility alone carries serious implications. This is not a minor controversy that can disappear through a carefully crafted press release or a short statement on social media. When the Internal Revenue Service freezes financial accounts during an active investigation, it signals that authorities believe immediate action is necessary while evidence is reviewed. During a related public discussion, one commentator posed a direct question to Erika Kirk, asking, "Do you think these protests are helping?" The response that followed immediately captured attention when the answer came back. "Personally, I do not. I think it's demonic." That kind of action signals that federal investigators believe there may already be enough evidence suggesting possible financial misconduct to justify cutting off access to certain funds immediately.
Immediately starts flowing through that private LLC. You're talking millions of dollars from Turning Point and from Turning Point PAC. Right around that same exact time, Tyler Boyer, who could barely handle his HOA fees, buys a $1.9 million mansion with $600,000 down.
When authorities take a step like that, the message is clear. This is not routine paperwork or a minor compliance issue. It indicates that investigators consider the situation serious enough to require immediate financial restrictions while the investigation continues. Now the situation becomes even more complicated. Observers following the controversy say the latest developments did not come out of nowhere. Questions surrounding Turning Point USA's financial management had already been circulating publicly for months. Critics had repeatedly pointed toward irregularities in spending, vendor payments, and large event arrangements. One example frequently mentioned involves TPUSA's widely promoted patriotic Super Bowl halftime event. The production was marketed as a massive celebration meant to energize supporters and showcase the organization's cultural influence. But according to reports circulating online, the entire situation may have unraveled after musician Kid Rock allegedly claimed he never received full payment for his involvement. That allegation immediately raised eyebrows. Kid Rock is not known for quietly ignoring disputes. Public statements attributed to him suggest frustration over the situation, and reports claim he warned that if payment issues were not resolved quickly, additional information about TPUSA's financial operations could become public. The possibility of that kind of disclosure has reportedly created anxiety among individuals connected to Erika Kirk's leadership circle. Unlike a small contractor who might quietly walk away, Kid Rock has a massive platform and long-standing connections within media and political circles. That reality raises a larger question many observers are now asking. If a high-profile figure like Kid Rock is openly speaking about unpaid commitments, how many other vendors or performers may also be waiting for answers? Across major political events, there are always production crews, staging companies, equipment suppliers, marketing teams, and outside consultants involved. If unresolved payments exist beyond this single case, critics say more voices could begin coming forward soon. And if additional insiders decide to speak publicly, The financial scrutiny surrounding Turning Point USA could intensify even further in the coming weeks. To fully understand how Turning Point USA reached this moment of scrutiny, the timeline has to be traced back to the planning of the highly promoted halftime show. The event was introduced as TPUSA's patriotic alternative to the traditional Super Bowl halftime performance, marketed as a bold cultural counterstatement to what organizers described as a mainstream entertainment industry moving in the wrong direction. Erika Kirk strongly promoted the event as part of a wider anti-woke campaign. The messaging framed the show as more than entertainment. It was advertised as a symbolic moment, meant to demonstrate that traditional American culture remained alive, energized, and unafraid to push back against modern cultural trends. The show was also tied directly into Turning Point USA's fundraising structure. Promotional material highlighted patriotic imagery, merchandise opportunities, and exclusive ticket packages aimed at supporters eager to participate in what was described as a historic cultural event. However, according to critics and attendees who later shared reactions online, concerns began surfacing almost immediately after the event ended. Complaints focused on the production value, which some viewers described as underwhelming compared to the expectations set by the heavy promotional campaign. Some attendees argued the stage design and overall production felt unusually low budget for a show that had reportedly attracted significant sponsorship and ticket revenue. Others pointed to the performance itself, claiming it lacked the scale and impact that had been promised in the marketing materials. As those reactions spread across social media, supporters who had paid to attend or financially back the event began asking pointed questions about how the funds connected to the show were actually spent. Critics eventually concluded that the event appeared less focused on delivering a memorable performance and more structured around sponsorship deals, merchandise sales, and premium ticket pricing. In their view, the halftime show functioned primarily as a fundraising mechanism wrapped in patriotic branding. Once that perception started gaining traction among supporters, frustration quickly escalated into visible anger within parts of the audience that had initially embraced the event with excitement and pride. But the situation became even more serious once another detail began circulating widely. Regardless of how the show was received by audiences, performers and production crews still expected to be compensated for their work. In any professional arrangement, the basic rule is simple. When artists show up, deliver the performance, and fulfill the contract, payment follows. That is the standard structure of business agreements across the entertainment industry. According to insiders discussing the controversy, the payment owed to Kid Rock was not simply delayed by routine accounting issues. Reports claim the payment was allegedly withheld following a direct decision from individuals within Turning Point USA's leadership structure. Critics say this distinction matters because it suggests the problem may not have been administrative processing or banking delays. Instead, the claim circulating among insiders is that the organization simply did not have the available funds necessary to complete the payment when it was due. The moment word began spreading that Kid Rock had not been paid, the entire conversation surrounding the event shifted dramatically. Vendors, contractors, and production teams reportedly started speaking with one another and comparing experiences connected to the same event. At the same time, observers began linking the alleged unpaid invoices to reports that the Internal Revenue Service had frozen accounts associated with the organization during an investigation. The questions spreading through the network of individuals connected to the event quickly became unavoidable. If the headline performer could not receive payment, who else might still be waiting for invoices to be settled? That realization reportedly triggered intense concern behind the scenes. A small vendor might remain quiet after missing payment for fear of losing future work. But the situation changes dramatically when the unpaid party is a nationally recognized musician with a massive platform and a willingness to speak publicly. Unlike smaller contractors, Kid Rock does not rely on Turning Point USA for visibility or opportunity. That independence gives him the ability to raise questions openly, and insiders say that possibility has created serious pressure inside the organization. That threat carries serious weight, especially with an active investigation reportedly underway involving the Internal Revenue Service. When federal investigators are already examining an organization's finances, any new evidence introduced into the process can significantly accelerate the timeline of that investigation. If a high-profile performer were to cooperate with investigators providing contracts, payment agreements, communications, invoices, or other financial records tied to Turning Point USA, those materials could become highly relevant to the review already taking place. Documentation like that helps investigators map how money moves through an organization and whether every transaction followed the required nonprofit rules. That possibility is exactly why observers say Erika Kirk's team appears to be operating in full damage control mode. The challenge facing the organization is straightforward, but extremely high stakes. Either the payment dispute involving Kid Rock gets resolved quickly and quietly, or the situation risks escalating into a much larger public and legal conflict. Unlike smaller contractors who might avoid confrontation, Kid Rock possesses a massive public platform and strong connections across media and political circles. If frustration continues building, critics say he could choose to speak openly or share documentation that draws even more attention to the organization's finances. Yet the most consequential layer of this story may not involve outside figures at all. It may involve people already working inside the organization itself. When an IRS account freeze or investigation impacts an organization, the effects ripple far beyond the leadership team. Vendors, contractors, performers, consultants, and internal staff members suddenly begin reviewing their own roles and responsibilities in relation to the financial activity under scrutiny. Observers say loyalty that once appeared strong from the outside can shift quickly when individuals begin considering their own legal exposure. At that point, protecting personal interests may begin to outweigh protecting the organization. According to reports circulating online, some insiders connected to TPUSA have already begun taking precautionary steps. Internal emails are reportedly being saved, contracts and financial agreements are being reviewed carefully. Individuals are ensuring documentation clearly separates their actions from any decisions made by leadership. While Erika Kirk continues presenting a calm public image and the organization manages its messaging, critics argue that the internal foundation may be shifting quietly beneath the surface. The people who understand the operational details of Turning Point USA better than anyone else are the same individuals who hold the most valuable information for investigators. If even one insider decides personal protection matters more than loyalty, the situation could change rapidly. The moment someone walks into a federal building carrying documents, emails, or financial records tied to the organization, the dynamic shifts entirely. Investigations gain momentum, new questions emerge, and previously hidden details can quickly surface. For now, the timeline continues moving forward. The Internal Revenue Service is reportedly reviewing the situation. Kid Rock is still waiting on payment, and insiders across the organization appear increasingly cautious. Whatever developments come next, one conclusion already seems clear to many observers. The controversy surrounding Turning Point USA and Erika Kirk is far from finished.